Hey everybody, it's Drew, aka Public Enema, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is just around the corner and I could not be more excited to get my hands on it. So I thought today we would make some wild and outrageous predictions about what to expect with the game. I was reviewing the YouTube Terms of Service, and apparently you're contractually obligated anytime you cover Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or the remake to reach out to John Chicken Fillets to see if he has anything to say on the matter, so he'll be joining us for a few of these. I appreciate him jumping on board. But anyway, let's take a look, and just be warned, there are spoilers for the original game and also Remake Part 1, but let's have some fun. A cool mechanic in the OG Final Fantasy VII is the hidden affection ratings that influence the famous Gold Saucer date. And based on choices made in the game, Cloud can spend a special evening either with Aerith, Tifa, Yuffie, or Barrett. And the PlayStation State of Play confirmed that the Gold Saucer date scene will return. Now might be a good time to mention the fact that Yuffie is 16 years old. I can see it now. Cloud has a bag of nice shiny materia and a 6-pack of Shinra Ice wine coolers. He turns the corner into the Wonder Square, where he was supposed to meet Yuffie. But instead he's greeted by Sung of the Turks doing his best Chris Hansen impression. Cloud, why don't you have a seat over there? After some community service down in Corel Prison and some mandatory counseling, the party will continue their hunt for Sephiroth, although it's quite a bit more awkward now. Although Tifa and Aerith maybe wonder if they're dodging a bullet.
Hi, John aka Chicken Fillets here, and man oh man, I've got a wild prediction for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Strap yourselves in because this one's just mental. Now it's already been confirmed, Roche is back in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You know Roche, the plucky newcomer to Final Fantasy VII universe, where he appeared as a boss fight in Final Fantasy VII Remake. And his fan favourite or not so fan favourite, depending on how you view him, well, he's back in Rebirth. Now, my wild prediction on this is very wild, is that Roche will get his own DLC. Yes everyone, we are getting episode Roche for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now Roche is just a madman overall, so this DLC you could expect to be completely bonkers off the wall. Yes, there'll be mini games because he loves his motorbike, maybe a bit too much, so we're going to have lots of motorbike based combat in this game, and he's just going to be generally a very funny comedic character. I don't know why I expect there to be DLC for this, but you know what? Roche, Roche, Roche. We love Roche.
One of the more memorable moments in Part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is easily the Honeybee Inn segment. In order to save Tifa from the despicable Don Corneo, Cloud has to dress up as a girl. But somehow that leads to this big dance number, which was actually pretty dang fantastic. But how does that tie into Part 2 of the Remake trilogy? In Rebirth, all roads lead to the Forgotten Capital. Something will happen there that will forever change the makeup of the party for the remainder of the game. I believe the Honeybee Inn sequence awoke something within our hero. Maybe he enters the Forgotten Capital as Cloud, but will re-emerge as Lightning. The long-running joke since Final Fantasy XIII's release is that Lightning is basically just Girl Cloud. Square Enix is going to confirm this fact by making it part of the Rebirth canon, while using the shock to announce the rumored Final Fantasy XIII Trilogy remaster within the Final Fantasy VII Remake universe. I, for one, am looking forward to playing through Final Fantasy XIII, Final Fantasy XIII Chadley's Revenge, and Final Fantasy XIII Cloud Returns as soon as it comes out. Now to kick it over to John for his take on what's going to happen at the Forgotten Capital.
Prediction number 2. This is another wild card and will probably not happen at all, but hey ho, let's have a laugh with this. Now spoilers, so go on ahead if you don't want to know spoilers about Final Fantasy VII, but if you're here, there's probably a reason and you probably know Final Fantasy VII already. So there is the question in this game of who will peg it, because we know in Final Fantasy VII, the original, that Aerith is the one that dies in the game, saving the world in the process. However, who will die in this one? Will it be Aerith again? No, it will be Cait Sith, who will meet his demise yet again because he'll already sacrificed himself in the Temple of the Ancients. Another new Cait Sith will come along and replace him, and he will die at the hands of Sephiroth. What a game changer. What a life-changing experience.
In what I felt was a brilliant move, Square Enix decided to take some creative license with the overall Final Fantasy VII story within the remake. In its effort to flesh out an already impressive Midgar, several new characters have been added, and existing ones have been built up even more. Out of all the new characters, Chadley probably stands out the most. The Shinra R&D intern possesses an incredible intellect and is capable of developing materia out of VR simulations and combat data. But along with the new character, Square also included some plot differences from the original game. These changes include the Avalanche members and Zack Fair surviving, when they should all be dead. But why? Here's where my outrageous theory comes in. The entirety of Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy is happening within a Chadley simulation. None of it's real, man. The OG Final Fantasy VII is the real world, but everything else has just been ones and zeros in Chadley's head. Maybe for our remake protagonist to survive, an epic final boss battle is coming against Giga Chadley.
Oh goodness! I'm experiencing an emotional response.
Now, if I want to actually give you a proper prediction, again, it's not going to happen, but let's have fun with it. What I would really like to see with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, if there is DLC for it, I would like to see an episode based on the Turks. The Turks, I feel, are fantastic characters, and they really get expanded on within the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I fully expect them to get the same sort of treatment in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So would it not be fun to be able to play as Reno or play as Rude, Elena, Sung? I think this would be epic, and also to see the dealings between the Turks and their boss Rufus Shinra. I think this would be a cracking piece of DLC, but you know what? We can only dream. Anyway, thank you to Drew Public Enema for having me on this completely wild predictions for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, Patty bye.
If you're gonna bullshit me, at least try to make it believable.
For my last prediction, I predict that PETA will protest the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for its depiction of Red 13. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, have long been known for their staunch advocacy for animal rights, oftentimes employing some pretty controversial forms of protest. Based on their history, PETA is going to have several problems with Red 13. For starters, they would probably oppose his name. Red 13 is his captive lab name, given to him by the despicable Hojo. Something PETA and I agree on, actually. Surely he should be called by his birth name, Nanaki. PETA will also protest the animal-on-animal absurdity of Red riding a chocobo like he's a bipedal life form. I'm honestly not sure who gets the raw end of the deal there. And finally, PETA will also have a problem with Red trying to pass as a human soldier on the ship from Junon to Costa del Sol. How dare Cloud and company force Red to journey across open water in the uniform of his former oppressors? When it comes to Kate Sith, however, PETA agrees with everyone else that he's a terrible character and ultimately doesn't matter. To be safe, everyone should beware of PETA throwing buckets of blood on you when you go to pick up your Day 1 pre-order of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Okay, so there are 7 predictions for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. If any of these come true, I will probably eat my shoe on stream. But it was really fun to put this list together. Thanks to John for jumping on board. Always appreciate his input when it comes to all things Final Fantasy VII. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you've got some weird predictions you want to throw in the comments. Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.